In this tutorial you will learn how to create message boxes, so graphical windows that give a choice to the user with Python, so pyqt5 in this case, the latest module. So the first thing you want to do is to import several modules. These are the modules you will need. You can type them in yourself. So this is just PyQt and the sys module. These are all sub-modules of PyQt. And we'll create a basic window first, so or a widget in this case, but it doesn't really matter. Really the most basic things, which is the window which you've seen in the previous tutorial. So it shows itself, and we want to have a main function with Qt being initialized and the window object being created. You can do that with these lines. So this will create the initialized Qt, the UI library. This will create your window object and it will stay running until it's finished. So your program always enters here in case you didn't know. So if we run this, maybe we see a small window. Nothing too special. So in this case we don't see anything. And that's because we forgot two underscores here. So let's just load it again, and forgot the self word right here. So if you run it again, you actually should see the window. Yeah, so that's an empty window that doesn't do anything, nothing too spectacular. So what you want to do now is to show a window. So, notice that we imported the module Qt widgets with as qmessagebox. So this message box is what we'll be using to show a message to the user. So we have a function inside it called question, which has a window title. Let's call it beverage, and we can add a question as well as an answer. In this case, obviously, it only has one good answer, and can specify this answer using qmessagebox.yes. So now actually a window or a message box will pop up with this question and the only possible answer. So there we go. Only have the message here, the title that we specified, the message, and our answer. So qmessagebox.yes adds this to the window. And this little thing is still showing here, like the main application window. You could hide it by adding a dash right here, so commenting the line out. And it will only start showing this message box, and that's it. You can exit with Ctrl-Z if you stay there. And so it's obvious that this is the only good answer, but there are people who don't like coffee, so they might want another answer. So we add another answer no. And when we run this, you'll see the two buttons are there. So we have no and yes right here. And now we press on it, but nothing actually happens after running it. So we want to store the answer given. So this function right here, the question function, returns an integer, and this integer is stored in the variable answer. You can do something, whatever you want with this variable. For this example, we'll simply output it. So this is an integer return, so depending on whether you press yes or no, it will return a different integer. And these are reserved numbers, so PyQt knows these numbers. But if we execute this, you might expect 1 or 0 or something, but It's not the case. They have different numbers. So if I press no, see that it's this number. And if I press yes, see that it's that number. So 16,000 something. So you might think, do I have to remember those numbers? Well, that's actually not the case. You can simply ask Python if it's equal to the qmessagebox dot yes or no. So in case it's yes, and otherwise no is pressed. Be careful with the else, because if you have a lot of buttons, you start to adding buttons, obviously this will not work anymore. So then you might want to say doesn't equal no. So now, depending on whether we press yes or no, we'll see the output. And we need to use double equal sign. So in case the other one was assigned, it's a little bit late here. So use the double equality sign. And so now if we press yes, see that yes appears on the screen, and if we press no, no appears on the screen. So very basic. And also notice that when you open it, no is the default option. That's obviously not what you want in the case of coffee. So we can change that. Hold on a second. With a simple extra parameter. So just add here .yes. So this is like the default option, the last parameter. And now you'll see that yes is the default option, which is what we want. And you can add more buttons. So there's a whole lot of buttons like cancel, open, save, and so on. You have all seen them when you use the computer. So I'll just give you a list and show you all these buttons. So you can simply add one of these buttons in those lines, and they will be added to your message box. So let's add one. Let's take the help button, and we'll add that to the message box. So an extra option right here. And notice that we don't use a comma here because it's one parameter. So they are all added using this symbol. I think it's the pipe character. So if you run this, you see that we have 3 buttons. And in this case, help won't do anything because we didn't add any code for that. But we have the no and the yes button, and sums it up basically. So you can create any message box you want using the qmessagebox.question function, which will return the integer, and basically what we told in this video.